Hello and welcome again to Not Fake News. We have three articles here. I'll try to get them all in. All right. Trump's Labor Secretary nominee withdraws. Don't like his face anyway. Andrew Pudsner, President Donald Trump's pick for the Secretary of Labor, has dropped out of his confirmation hearings amid scandals about his past. While I won't be serving the administration, I fully support the president and his highly qualified team, Pudster said in a statement. I am withdrawing my nomination for the Secretary of Labor. I am honored to have been considered, and I'm grateful to those who have supported me. Pudster had lost the support among Senate Republicans, with 4 GOP senators saying that they would not vote for him, and up to 8 more saying that they were thinking of not voting for him. CNN reported, probably, whatever, we can't trust what they say, but as shown during the confirmation vote, the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, Trump's cabinet picks, cannot afford to lose more than 2 GOP votes. Last Tuesday, Putzer admitted that he had previously employed the undocumented immigrant for years. He only recently paid back the taxes on the employee, as well as filed all required paperwork for her. He had a high-profile divorce 30 years ago that included claims by ex-wife Lisa Fernstein that he abused her. On Monday, the Oprah Winfrey Network distributed a copy of Fernstein's 1990 appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show detailing her abuse to the Senate. Pudsner, the CEO of the fast food holding company, was a controversial choice even before his past resurfaced. The billionaire was a major Trump campaign contributor and has been a harsh critic of the raising the federal minimum wage, arguing that it would increase costs for consumers and lead to fewer jobs. He is supportive of Trump's plan to lower taxes for corporations and the wealthy, loosening regulations for business, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's a real winner, issued the statement Wednesday against the nominee ahead of Putzer's decision to withdraw from the consideration. And no matter how you cut it, there is no worse pick for a labor secretary than Andrew Putzer. And I am encouraged my Republican colleagues are starting to agree. Schumer said, he does not belong anywhere near the Labor Department, let alone at the head of the Putzer disdain for the American worker. The very people he would be responsible for protecting is second to none. Secretary Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren all spoke out against Putzer on Wednesday. We need a labor secretary who will stand up for workers, raising the minimum wage and pay equity for women. Mr. Putzer was not that candidate. Putzer's withdrawal is the second major blow for the Trump administration in 3 days. On Monday night, retired General Michael Flynn was forced to resign as National Security Advisor after the White House said that the president didn't trust him. He lost his trust in him, eroded over what Flynn had told administration officials about the conversation between the Russian ambassador on sanctions. Another administration nominee, Vincent Viola, dropped out of the consideration to be the Secretary of Army on February 3rd, saying that it was too difficult for him to extradite himself from his business holdings in accordance with government rules against profiting from federal contracts. During President Barack Obama's 8 years in office, 3 cabinet picks withdrew, compared to 2 under President George W. Bush and 5 under President Bill Clinton. 2 of Clinton's nominees and 1 of Bush's dropped out after it was revealed that he employed undocumented workers as well. And we have another story. By the way, we have 2 more stories, and one of them is Congress repeals the rule to keep guns from mentally ill people, and I got a lot to say about that. And pot shots, marijuana catapult seized at Mexico border. They're catapulting bundles of it over the wall. Yeah. So let's go to this gun thing. Congress repeals rule to keep guns from the mentally ill. First thing that dawns on me, because I'm a big skeptic, is, okay, why does the government right now want to put guns in mentally ill people's hands? not saying that's a bad thing and that there should be a problem that they shouldn't. I'm just saying, why is it that they're agreeing to it? That scares me. Why do you want crazy people to have guns? But okay, now here's what the mentally ill, not the mentally ill, but here's the reasoning behind why you shouldn't, that it's a good thing that they're doing this. In the end, it's good, and it is because, if you start saying, oh, you can't, the mentally ill, who's to say what mentally ill is? What's going to happen if somebody has a toothache, or not a toothache, but if somebody has postmortem syndrome, or whatever they call that, PSD, that they can't have a gun, or very slight mental illness that maybe you can do everything else, but why shouldn't a person who's mentally ill be able to protect themselves? That's what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, let's get to this gun thing here. The U.S. Senate has voted to overturn the Obama-era law that would have denied the estimated 75,000 people with mental illness from purchasing firearms, arguing it would stigmatize people with disabilities. The Republican-led Senate voted for 57 to 43 on Wednesday to revoke the rule. They were joined by 4 Democratic senators and 1 independent senator. All 5 are facing re-election in 2018. This regulation unfairly stigmatizes people with disabilities. If the regulation is not repealed, it will allow the agency to unfairly deprive Social Security recipients of their Second Amendment rights. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, said, according to the Huffington Post, the regulation would result in a disability recipients being reported to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS, and ineligible to own a firearm, and thus have their Second Amendment rights violated. So that's what I was trying to say before. They would be instantly sent to an automatic system. Their name would pop up, it'd be sent into a system, and they would be denied, no matter what their illness was, until it was appealed or whatever. News headquarters tweets, Congress just repealed rules to keep guns from mentally ill. Grassley argued that under the regulation, those people suffering from eating and sleep disorders with a third party to manage their benefits could be unfairly reported for a background check. The House voted against the rule last Thursday. Another person tweets here from RT America tweets, House votes to end Obama rule banning gun buys for Social Security recipients presumed mentally ill. The regulation was introduced by the Obama administration in 2012 in response to a massacre of 26 children and teachers at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut by a man with a history of mental illness who had obtained an assault rifle legally. The Social Security Administration introduced the rule in 2015, but it was only finalized last December under Barack Hussein Obama. Under the regulation, people whose finances were administered by a trustee and were judged unfit because of the disability stemming from the mental problem would have their information sent to the NICS and prohibited from purchasing firearms. Disability advocates were convinced about the regulation, arguing that it discriminated against too many people with mental disabilities and could set a precedent to reduce our other rights. Senate Democrats saw the repeal vote by Republicans and hypocritical and pandering to their base rather than it being a real concern for those suffering from mental illness. Republicans constantly say that we should be enforcing existing laws, and then they are, at the same time, rewriting the law so that fewer people will be put on the criminal background check system, said Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut, who became an outspoken critic of the gun violence after the massacre in the state. Okay, so yeah. Now, finally, pot shots, marijuana, catapults, drugs flying through the sky over the Mexican border. Trump's wall is going to have catapult-proof system. No, it doesn't say that, but I'm just going to guess. We're going to make sure Trump finds out about this. We're going to share this with all your friends and family. Let Trump see it, and he'll defend us against the catapults as well. Okay? That's just some crazy stuff here. Just wanted to say that real quick. And pop us back over here. U.S. Border Patrol's agents in Arizona have dismantled the Catapult system allegedly used to transport at least 47 pounds of marijuana over a border fence from Mexico onto the United States. Because certainly not going from the United States into Mexico. The homemade catapult was discovered on February 10th within the Mexico side of a border fence near the Douglas port of entry in Tucson, Arizona. Hint, hint, pot, drug, whatever. After the U.S. Border Patrol agents noticed several people on the south side quickly retreating from the fence as they approached, U.S. Customs and Border Protection said Tuesday they heard them screaming, "Shit, we gotta get rid. We gotta run and leave this nice catapult." U.S. BP agents bring into action dismantling catapult used to launch marijuana on launch marijuana. Hashtag marijuana, hashtag honor first, hashtag holy crap. Near the catapult, agents found 2 bundles of marijuana that collectively weighed more than 47 pounds together. U.S. agents dismantled the catapult in correspondence with the Mexican authorities who seized the system. Border Patrol agents kept the marijuana, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol said. I'm going to repeat that. Mexican authorities who seized the system. Border Patrol agents kept the marijuana, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Protection said. Affixed to the border wall between Aruga, Prieta, Sonora, and Douglas, the catapult was made with welded steel parts that resembled a basketball backstop, according to the Tucson Sentinel. In recent years, drug smuggling efforts in the U.S.-Mexico have included the firing of bundled contraband with air-powered cannons, vehicle ramps, and light aircraft used to airdrop drugs into the desert, AP reported, Associated Press. In 2011, the Dreb Beckett possibly used to thrust marijuana bundles over the border fence near Naco, Arizona, was found by Mexican authorities, according to the Tucson Sentinel. In December, U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested 2 U.S. teenagers found with 34 pounds of marijuana that authorities believe have been shot into Naco with their air cannon. Last month, about 3,000 pounds of pot hidden inside the watermelon-shaped packages disguised as a commercial shipment was confiscated by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol at the Far International Bridge cargo facility in Texas. Smugglers continue to be creative as they attempt to introduce illegal narcotics into our country, said Port Director Efren Solis Jr. Our frontline CBP officers experience vigilance and attention to detail prevents the introduction of these dangerous drugs into our country. Bravo. Send down some more guys. Wow, look at that catapult. That's some serious stuff right there. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure you remember to share this with your friends and family. Just share it on Twitter and Facebook. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed already. And also hit the bell next to the subscribe button, because then you get notified of the breaking stories that we're doing each day. If you like what we're doing here at Not Fake News, please like our videos. It's very important and it means a lot to us. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day. I'll see you next time at Not Fake News.